Hey there, good afternoon, traders. This is Raul Rivera with your afternoon market profile review. Today is Monday, June 26th, 2017, approximately 3:21 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get started here. But you know what? Before we get started, I have two words: market profile. The reason I bring this up is because there's no other indicator out there that will accurately and precisely ever show you where the low or the high of the day are going to be on any given day consistently. Here in the S&P 500 futures, we could see early this morning we marked the low, a possible low being here around 36 to 37, and a possible high here at 46 to 47. As you can see, I mean, the accuracy is there. We called the high and we called the low, and we did that with so much time in advance that all we had to do was just place our orders and wait for the market to fill them. You know, the market profile is the only exchange backed product by the CBOT. When we look at an RSI or MACDs, we don't see anything about them being backed by a specific exchange. And there is no other indicator out there that is backed by an exchange. I mean, the NASDAQ or the NYSE or the CME, they might have indicators that are so advanced, and not available to the public. We don't know, but we definitely think that they have these amazing indicators, but they're not released to the public. They weren't released to the public like the market profile was. And, the market profile was created by exchange members for exchange members and later released to the public, and it was doing us individual investors a great service. But unfortunately, a lot of education and market profile indicators out there on the internet are just not good enough. They're too basic in nature and don't have the advanced techniques that you need to have, that professionals use. So that's why, I'm really excited. The team at TechMeets Trader and I worked for months to get a market profile that can consistently perform and is advanced enough to really see, well in advance, again, what the market wants to do. And today, we accurately predicted it here with the lows. So let's get back to my trading here. And, early this morning, we placed a couple of orders here at 24.37, I believe, and then 24.46 at the high. We got filled at the high first, and we went short 5 contracts at 24.46, and it seemed a little nervy because we saw the 50 to 200 lot traders, pretty much the institutions, were buying up the market. But then we felt better as they started selling it, and they haven't stopped selling it really since. Right in here between these two ticks, and I can show you this right now. And this is the great thing about this profile. It's so advanced. Let me scroll up in here now. We can see these blocks and a bunch of numbers. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about what that means. Just notice the color change. Okay, we have red on the left, green on the right, but then we have these weird colors like yellow. When we see yellow or when we see blue on either side, it means that there's, yellow means that there's a ton of selling coming in. Pretty much institutions putting in sell orders or sneaking them in at multiple prices. And here we can see 4 ticks or one entire point where the volume on the bid was just so much greater than the volume on the ask that it can't be anybody else other than an institution doing that, simply because individual investors, we don't have the capabilities to short a futures contract and dramatically affect the futures contract price. Only the institutions have that power because they have deep pockets and they can place these large orders. So here we sold 5 contracts at 24.46 as predicted on the market profile. We use the market profile view, and this is where we garner most of our information. This is the back engine, not the back engine, but under the hood engine of how we know what we want to do, where we want to do it, and when we want to do it. But going back to the hybrid view, which is candlesticks and the profile itself, we were spot on with our trading here. So we made 7 points on this trade from 46 to 39. This could very easily have brought about 12 points of potential profit at the very lows down here. And if I wanted, I didn't take the long trade, but if I wanted to, right here would have been the area. I mean, 37, we said that early this morning. 37 to 38, 37 to 36 being the area to get in. That also worked as well for about 5-6 points right here. So very decent trading. We made 7 points, and that was it here in the S&P 500. Next trade we took a look at the 30-year bond, but we didn't take a trade. We knew the market was just going to rally for the rest of the time. Durable goods, which is weird to have durable goods orders on a Monday morning. It's usually on a Friday or a Thursday. But here on the 30-year, we knew that the market was going to rally. When we take a look at the profile, we were extending the range on period Z. And if I split it here, you can see that we have a D shape, which is consolidation, followed by an extension higher, and consolidation, which is a P shape. So consolidation followed by a trending up pattern. They were buying this market from early this morning. We knew that there's just no historical data that backs possible resistance. The market has a short-term memory, and it only cares about levels of support and resistance in its most recent memory. So we knew we liked the long side, definitely not the short side. And we knew the place to get long was all the way down here, but of course the market didn't really give us any option. So we didn't take a trade on this one. I didn't even place an order on this one. Next up, we had crude oil, and this was by far the best trade I had today. Fantastic 46 tick profit on a single trade. It's just these things that are very hard to do when you're not using a profile. It's just incredible that not many traders out there are using this stuff. And I've just, with the support of Techniques Trader, we've really created a profile that's just, it cannot, others just cannot compete with this, at least not yet. Hopefully we start a nice competition, but this profile is just incredible. Early this morning, a couple of places of interest that we had marked here, and the first was a possible short up here around 43.70 to 43.80. Okay, market never really got to that area. It got very close, but not really all that close. And then we knew we wanted to be long, and we wanted to be doing it down here around 42.70 to 42.60. Now just because it clutters my charts, I usually don't keep the markers. See, I have them as do not plot, but I'll go ahead and mark them here for the video purposes. And here, fantastic. We couldn't have done it any better, catching the low of the day right there. 42.67, the absolute low was about 62. We caught it at 67, and I sold all 5 contracts at 43.13. That's a 46, I believe it was 46 tick profit here in crude oil with just one single trade. And it could have been for a lot more. Notice this was at 43.13. That was right around here. The market traded much more than that. Could have been a possible 70 tick trade here. 80 tick trade here would have been quite a fantastic run. I didn't think crude oil had it in it, um, but took it off at 43.13. Still 46 ticks on a 5 lot. That's $2,300 of profit. So I mean, the futures provide such great liquidity and awesome leverage. You know, we can put on trades that we can put on trades with such little capital up front and receive the same type of leverage as if we were, you know, investing a large amount of capital. And that's the beautiful thing with the market profile. You know, we use that extra leverage efficiently so that it doesn't hurt us. um, Many of the times, of course, you know, the market profile is not perfect, you know, and every single trade is not always going to be a winner, but we can really precisely, accurately, and consistently find these fantastic trades that, you know, are pretty tough to do trading on your own. You know, looking at the profile, it's, you know, just more information. Again, this is where we get most of our information. This view of the profile. Also, institutions. As soon as, you know, we caught the low, institutions were buying right after us. Right there, we can see when we zoom in, we can see in blue, these blue little shades here on the bar. That's those are larger than average trades being placed there. So we got in all the way down here right before the institutions began to really rampage this crude oil market higher, which is pretty awesome, being ahead of the institutions. So great trade there in the crude oil market. Gold. This one. I ended up winning on this trade, but only 2 ticks. So it wasn't absolutely fantastic. And it looks like I got rid of it a little bit too early. As soon as I got rid of it, the market moved lower. But this market was extending the range. When we take a look at the profile, you know, we have all these single prints running down. When we split that, we get a B shape followed by another B shape, but this one was done on a range extension lower. And we knew the only thing we wanted to do was be short. We could see the institutions on that big push lower. They were extremely short, and for the rest of the time, they just really weren't doing anything. Some of these green bars we see here, I think this is just short covering after such a large move lower. Taking a closer look, we knew early this morning we wanted to be short inside this range, and if that failed, all the way up here. So from 45 to 46, we wanted to be short, and then from 47.5 to 48.5, we wanted to enter a short trade again, or at least add to our initial short position. Unfortunately, the market just kind of remained sideways for a very long time. I put this trade on, you know, very early this morning, and, you know, at the 9:30 a.m. bar, and I ended up exiting this at 2 o'clock for 2 ticks profit. So, you know, pretty much a break-even trade here in the gold market. And finally, looking at the euro, this was a trade that would have worked fantastically. This one we only wanted to be short. At the time, we didn't see the market headed all the way down here to 12.10. So, and this was right after the durable goods. The market spiked, and we knew we wanted to be short in this range. And I mean, it came right to that range, right smack to the tick right there. I put in an order hoping it would get filled right away, but the market just pulled back from there and then just started trading lower. Tried again to get into this area, but just found too much resistance and then traded lower. But a fill here would have been a fantastic trade all the way down. And we could see right here, this big bar spiked to the upside. We could see institutions bought into it at the very lows here, and then they just sold it at the very highs. And we could see the end result was a red bar, and then the market just continued to move lower. And I can prove that to you when we take a look at the bar, and we take a closer look at that bar. This wick here was when they started buying, and right on these blue bars is where most of the buying was made. I mean, all the way up, it was just nothing but buyers. But this is where the institutions got in. This is where this wick came from. And then it wasn't until they got to, it wasn't until they got to the highs right here, where they just started selling it. Here was the biggest order that we could see, the biggest obvious order. Of course, I'm sure they were selling all of this, but the biggest obvious order was right here at this tick. And then from there, it was just nothing more than just selling, selling, and selling. You know, we saw a few orders come in. Yeah, they were buying, but you know, they got lucky. You know, they bought in here and took it all the way up here, but then it sold off, you know, so on and so forth. But that's not, you know, we don't really trade using this information. This information is here to ease our anxieties and to help us manage our trades, not really to help us enter or exit a trade. But this one, we didn't quite get a fill. But other than that, it was a fantastic day of trading. You know, 3 straight winners. You know, 2 big winners and 1 break even. That, you know, all break evens are winners in my book. But pretty decent trading. Can't wait to do this again on tomorrow, Tuesday. Thanks guys for watching, and good luck with your trading.